from the studios in beautiful Oceanport, New Jersey. Welcome to the biggest and greatest podcast ever. I'm your host, Ray K. Let me segue into Billy. Okay, how'd you meet him?
Billy who?
Billy Joel. Billy Joel. I heard he's Joel in Ireland. I know some Irish people, but Billy, is that his real name, Joel, or is that short?
Yes.
It actually is his real name. Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you meet him? I know you spoke about this 10 million times probably, but just give me that real quick version, and then we'll get into it. Yeah.
The quick version is we were in a hot tub in the Plato's Retreat. It's an old men's club.
You're kidding me. Okay. And Zach Martin was there. We might as well get him
Zach
in here.
Martin was
okay. All right. Okay. He'll like that. Okay.
But Zach left early because his hair got frizzy, so he had
I won't get into that, but all right. Give me version 2 now.
Okay, version 2. I played in a band called the New Rock Workshop, and we played in this place in Plainview, Long Island. It was, 1967, maybe 66, 67. And Billy was in a band called the Hassles.
Is he the same age as you about? Close?
He's a year older than I.
Year older. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we used to play together the same night.
Does that year make a difference, by the way? Because when you're 16, 17, that guy a year older, it seems like it kind of matters. Did it matter then? That year difference?
Back then?
Yeah.
Well, he turned 18 before I did, yeah, so that kind of did.
Okay.
But we only used to just say hi as we passed in the dark, you know?
Okay. Right.
That was it. But, I liked his band. He did a song that I loved I loved Traffic. Steve Winwood's band Traffic.
Yep.
And they did a song called Colored Rain, and the Hassles did that song. So I thought, okay, this guy playing organ is pretty good. He's doing the Traffic song.
Okay.
So anyway, we part ways.
So you saw he was good right then, that this guy has some talent right away.
I think it was good.
He was pretty good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the band was good. John Swall played drums. John Dizak was the lead singer out front. My band, the New Rock Workshop, is the same configuration. We had a lead singer that swung around this pole that was in the middle of the stage and all this kind of crap. Anyway, so after that, Russell Javers was coming to the club to see the bands, and he noticed me. He liked the way I played, and his dream was to be in a band with me. So eventually, make a long story short, we put together a band called Topper. It was myself, Doug Stegmeyer, Russell Javers, and Howie Emerson. Now, during the time Topper was together, in, I would say, 1972, Doug gets a call from Billy's tour manager, who went to the same high school as Doug, that Billy's looking for a bass player. Billy was out in California. He had recorded Panaman and Street Life Serenada. Those 2 albums on Columbia had come out, and they were on the Street Life Serenada tour, and they needed a bass player. So Doug left Topper and went to play with Billy on that tour.
Mm-hmm.
On that tour is when Billy decided he wanted to move back to New York, and he wanted to have put together a band that would play in the studio with him on the records and would also go on the road with him. That kind of band.
Okay.
And he wanted a New York style drummer, which meant a hard hitter, aggressive, more aggressive than those California guys were at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So Doug said, well, you know the guy, because we used to pass in this little club. So he came back to New York. Doug set it up that I had an audition with Billy, which is great. And we started to make the album Turnstiles. So Turnstiles was the first album on Columbia that I made with Billy.
What year are we talking now?
1974, 75.
All right, so you're 7 years after you had that initial meeting now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're making the album, and it's just me, Doug, and Billy in the studio. So it's bass, drums, and piano. We lay down a couple of tracks, and Billy's listening back, and he goes, I would really like some guitar on this. So me and Doug say, well, we know guitar players. So we get Russell and Howie to come in And that's how the band Topper that me and Doug were in eventually became Billy Joel's band.
Oh, okay.
That same band became Billy's band.
Now, was it named? Was it just Billy Joel? Was there a name for the band?
Yeah, it was Billy Joel. We didn't have a band.
There was no name for the band. It was just Billy Joel. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
which is another story that we regret today that we never had a name.
So it was like Elvis. It was like the three guys in the back. They were like not a nobody, but there was just Elvis. It wasn't
right.
And the whatever. Okay.
Right. It was kind of like that. So we did Turnstiles, which has Angry Man on it, New York State of Mind, Miami 2017 is on it. I've Loved These Days. Great songs are on it, but it bombs. It bombs.
Okay.
So that's how the initial meeting came about. And then the next album was The Stranger. That's the one that took off.
Oh, okay. That was right after that. Okay. Yeah. That was like one of the first songs I liked. 'Cause I was born in '60, like I said, so that was sort of my thing. When I'm 15 or 16 or whenever that came out, is right. Every song sounded good in it. It was almost like a Beatle album in that way, where every song in that album, to my ear, sounded great. Every one.
Yeah. Yeah, you can put the album on from the beginning.
Yeah, you don't got to like leave the room in 3 songs and come back, or just flip it up 3 songs. Everything was good.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Did you know when you made it that it was going to be a great album? I guess you must have known. I mean, do you get that feel that, hey, this is going to take off? I mean,
well, here's the problem. It's when you're with your friends in the studio,
right?
You're just doing what you love to do.
Okay.
You really don't think. You think like you listen back and you go, yeah, that's great, but I don't know if the people are going to like it or not.
Ah, okay, I got you. Right. Because you're kind of not too objective because you're doing it, and so that's in your mindset that, hey, of course we're going to like it, but
right.
Okay, got you. Okay.
Like I don't think anything was ever said except for Just the Way You Are when Phil said that's going to be a smash. That one. When we were like, we don't even want it on the album. It's too wimpy for us.
That's like yesterday a little bit,
Yeah. Well, funny you mentioned yesterday, and I was talking about Billy J. Kramer before. Billy J. Kramer, after a while, released a song called Trains and Boats and Planes. That's a Burt Bacharach tune.
Right.
And he had a hit with it in England. But older people were starting to come to see him because of that song. And he needed a rock and roll song. And he knew the Beatles were playing a club around the corner. So he went around the corner and asked for a song. But only Paul was there. And Paul played him a song. And Billy said, I don't want that song. It's a ballad. I don't want that. And he left. You know what song he played him? Played him yesterday.
That's a classic. Yeah. Now I know you were part of, I guess if it's co-writing or I know you were doing a lot of stuff. Tell me about Only the Good Die Young, which was one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, well, we don't call it co-writing. We call it like
what do you call it?
Being another guy in the studio.
Okay.
Okay. Hired musicians that. Let me.
You kind of write it, but you don't because you're not writing the lyrics. Is that it?
Well, here's the deal. It's like I'm in the studio like Ringo's in the studio.
Right.
I'm doing the same thing for Billy that Ringo did for John and Paul.
Okay. Right.
The only difference is I'm playing with a solo artist. Ringo was in a band called the Beatles. So when you listen to the Beatles songs, you think they all created that. When you listen to Billy's songs, you think Billy did it.
Yeah, right.
But it's just like the Beatles.
Okay, got you.
We all created those parts.
Right.
The only good thing song was we wrote it as a reggae tune, and I thought it just sucked as a reggae tune. And I remember. What am I saying? I remember there was this tune called "Up from the Skies" on the Jimi Hendrix album, "Axis Boulder's Love."
Right.
And it's got this quick brush shuffle thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I told Billy, "How about this? How about this feel?" And it was like that feel felt really, really good.
Okay.
And I even went to the extent of stealing the lick off the beginning of Up from the Skies and put it on Oh Let It Go Die Young.
Okay.
There's similar drum fills that start the song.
Right.
So yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, that's what happens. You create parts in the studio.
Okay, I got it.
Go with the song.
Right. Well, thank you for creating that, because to me that's one of the most underrated rock songs ever. Because that thing sounds so great. There's something about that song. It sounds great, and you got the Catholic girls. I mean, it's yeah. I mean it does a lot. It has everything going for it in my mind. It's What do you think? Most underrated rock song, Only the Good Die Young? What do you think?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. Go ahead. What?
I think Billy gets underrated a lot.
Well, I was going to get into that. How great was Billy Joel? Are they coming for me, or is that you? No, I'm only kidding.
No, they're coming to get me. Yeah. That's outside.
There was an Elvis interview, and he said that once during the interview with the sirens ring. Are they coming to get me? After I later knew what Elvis was about, I was like, I get where he's coming from,
Yeah.
But,
No kidding.
Yeah.
So Billy was a great songwriter. I mean, anybody writes stuff that you think is like, that's okay. But on the average, Billy wrote some great tunes. One of my favorite lines that he ever wrote, because I remember being at the age when he wrote it, was in a song called While the Night is Still Young. And he wrote a line that says, young enough to still see the passionate boy I used to be, but I'm old enough to say I got a good look at the other side. I mean, when he sang that to me, it was like, oh my God, how did you come up with that?
Was he a deep guy, or like what was he like? Like did he evolve over time? Like what was he generally like? Like he must have been kind of deep to come up with that line in general.
Yeah. Well, Billy was very deep. Billy loved to read. Would read anything. He'd read a matchbook cover, just to have something to read.
Okay.
And he was very intelligent, very smart. Even though he never finished high school, he's very, very smart with the English language and stuff like that. And he could really put a song together. I mean, he could say what you want to say. He could say it in 3.5 minutes, Right.
And he seemed to be a great performer too, just if you ever see him back then on TV. I mean, that run from the 70s into the 80s, I mean, it was a heck of a run. I mean,
it really was.
What was it like from your point of view being, I mean, you got this, I mean, he has to be up there in the Elton John, Rod Stewart category, I would imagine, top triple A list players, five stars,
it's really weird. It's like, I heard recently that Billy Joel's Greatest Hits album is in the top 5 records ever, most selling records ever.
Okay.
The top 5.
Right.
I'm like, I didn't know that. I mean, we don't get royalty checks, so we don't know how many albums actually sold, But it's in the top 5.
Now your point of view might be different, because now you probably know all the goofy sides. When you know someone, you know a different side to them, as opposed to this aura that they project worldwide. I imagine. Yeah. But stepping back on it, I mean, he did seem to be the top 5 of almost ever in performers. I mean, am I right? I mean, he's got to be up there.
Yeah, he worked hard. He worked hard to get to the point.
Point. Okay.
I mean, to be able to sell out the Garden at least once a month for how many years has he been doing it now?
Right. Right.
He worked really hard to get to that point.
Okay. So the hard work.
He gave it his all. And we were behind him 100%. My hands would bleed when I came off the stage.
Oh,
he couldn't talk half the time. He'd give it so much.
Your hands would literally bleed from drumming.
Yeah.
Okay. What was it like playing at the Garden? Just, for my viewers that, just the inside scoop. Okay, you're up there, you got 19,500 people in the crowd cheering these songs. I guess Billy kind of owns the crowd, because I don't know if it's a mob thing, but they're going to do whatever he says. So it's going to be a good night no matter what happens. What's it like?
Yeah. Well, the Garden itself, first of all, you go backstage, it's a disappointment because it's a bit of a dump.
If you don't mind, Liberty, okay, the bus pulls up or you drive in. What happens? You go into tell me how a day goes. Yeah.
A car picks you up.
Okay.
Because you're going in for sound check, so you got to be there by like 4:00. You go in the back up a ramp.
So you don't see any people. The car goes under a tunnel or whatever, and then you don't have any correspondence with walking in there and people. Hey, Liberty, can I have your autograph? The car takes you in. Okay.
Takes you right up, and you walk through a curtain, and there's the stage right there.
Okay.
So yeah, you don't see anybody.
Right.
And then you're in there, and you go into the dressing room. You drop whatever stuff you have off.
So the shows at, say, I don't know, 8 or 9. Like, how much earlier do you get there?
Well, we do sound check at 5.
5. That early.
5.
Okay.
5:00. Yeah.
Okay.
And because the door is usually at 6, so you beat it out. We never ever play a Billy Joel song at sound check. We never did. We always played like Beatles songs or something like that. Because it's just for the guys out front to make sure everything's working, everything's on.
Oh, that's what that's for. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Never any rehearsals or anything like that. So you just play Beatles songs. And towards the end, the band would go up and play the sound check, and then Billy would come up and play the piano because he would like to play some classical. It was when he was writing his classical music. He wrote that album.
Right.
And he would like to do that because it sounds great in a big arena like that, when you play classical music. So he would go up and do his sound check like that.
Okay.
Which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then you eat or whatever. And then they have the meet and greet. People come backstage. That's when you meet all these people.
Oh, like the VIP people, whatever. They win
VIP
something or whatever.
Celebrities come back.
How is that? Do you like that? Or is that a pain in the neck for like you and Billy? Does Billy like, I got to do it, so I'll do it? Like that kind of thing?
Well, it's like...
I'm talking real. Yeah.
We're talking real. Okay. You get excited to meet these people, certain people, but when like you have friends that come back and you're going to see them tomorrow at your house or something.
Okay.
but they want to come backstage. They just want to have that pass on. And you're like, they're trying to talk to you about things and drums and what songs you're playing tonight. And you're like, your mind is not there.
Right. So that you don't like. You don't like that. I mean, that's natural. I mean, be like, come on, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. You're like trying to be cordial to them, but you're thinking about like, how much more time do I have before I get ready? Will I have time to go in the dressing room and like just close my eyes for a second, to get psyched up for the show? So I remember there was times when I would be walking with Billy to the stage, and if anybody asked him a question, it would just be a yes or no answer. No long sentences or anything like that. Just, no. Because you're thinking about what you're about to do. Right.
And the other people might think he's being rude or whatever, but he's just getting into the show.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're walking up into the crowd's buzzing. You hear that little buzz that's selling out. I mean, do you think like, wow, look at this? Not that these people are crazy, but all these people are coming to see us. Does that enter your mind at all? Like laughing a little bit? Like, wow, look at this place is filling up. Whoa. or is that like, yeah, they're going to sell out? Of course they're going to sell out here.
No, it's usually like one of the roadies comes down and goes, wait till you see the chick in the front row.
Okay. I mean, does that happen the first 10 rows? I guess you could see. I guess you actually, I mean, everyone's going to be looking for people. I mean, do the performers notice people?
Well, let me tell you that they always ask us, like, how can you play Piano Man over and over every night and like get excited about it? How do you play the same set over and over every night and get excited about it? Well, the secret was Billy would hold the first 2 rows of tickets.
Okay.
Right? And then as the people were coming in, right before the show was about to start, a couple of crew guys would go up with these first 2 rows tickets way to the back and find like pleasant looking girls and ask them if they want to come to the first 2 rows.
Oh, okay.
So when you come out and the lights come on,
right,
you start playing, you're looking down at the first 2 rows of very pretty girls, very attractive girls. And it's like, This is why we got into business.
Yeah. I mean, does it affect your playing? I mean, if you were playing with, to a bunch of 95-year-old people, I mean, would it affect the play at all? Or are you going to play like tops no matter what? I guess the human element comes into play somewhat.
Well, I remember playing the Westbury Music Fair, and the stage used to rotate, right? And we'd be playing Just the Way You Are. And every time it got past this one couple, they were continually making out during the song.
Okay.
It was like, what are you doing?
Right.
Or what would distract me a lot was when people would be sitting behind us, like at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
To get my attention, they would throw like pennies and change at me. And it would hit the cymbals and just startle you for a second. Like, what was that? I
never even thought about that. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Did you ever have a hostile crowd like in Spain or whatever, or some other country, or here? Did ever anything get out of hand at all that you were in danger?
Nothing really got out of hand, like to say that kind of thing. But in Italy, the first time we went was when the Red Brigade, they wanted to become communist, and Italy was going through this battle of, are they going to become communists or are they going to stay the way they are? And the Red Brigade was throwing stuff on the stage. They had to hire security to watch the security. It was just a weird position to be in. Yeah. It was mine and Richie Cannata's first trip to Italy, and we were very disappointed in it.
Oh, okay.
Because it was nothing like we thought it would be.
Ah, okay. What was the best place you played? Is there one show or one country or arena?
Our favorite country to go to was Australia. We went there. We were big in Australia before we were big in the States.
Okay.
Turnstiles had gone gold in Australia, and I think you only have to sell 36,000 copies to go gold in Australia. But we went there in 1976. And it was the people were so friendly. The crew that we used there was so funny. We just had a blast every night. It was a blast, and we would go there we release an album and go to Australia. And after 30 years of playing with them, I had friends that I would see once a year.
Mm-hmm. Right. What? I mean, did it get old, or was it always exciting? I mean, you're a rock star. I mean, what was? I mean, after years and years of it, does it get old at all, or is it like exciting every time?
Oh, it's exciting, but you get tired. You start to get tired, like
the grueling tour. The whole thing is that what it is? The rigors of touring.
The show is a piece of cake. It's only 2 hours and 10 minutes long.
Okay.
It's the traveling.
Okay.
It's the boredom sitting around waiting for something to happen,
Okay, right. And then,
that's what creates problems.
Tensions.
Because you have a lot of free time.
Okay. Problems with the group itself, or just problems getting into trouble, or just like, what do you do?
Getting in trouble, who's going out drinking again tonight, Then you realize, wow, I've been doing this for a while,
Right.
Going out on my night off,
Yeah. Now you have a run. I mean, it was from what I'm reading, it was a 30-year run you had with Billy, right? I mean,
yeah.
Okay, so I guess everything moves forward. I mean, the Beatles broke up, like everything except for the Rolling Stones, I guess. But everything sort of, is it that kind of thing? It just kind of it ran its course. Now time for the next thing.
With me and Billy.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I would have gone on. I would have kept going with Billy. But if you notice Billy and listen to his music, every album he does something different. There's something different about each album.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And at the time of our separation, I was the only thing that he hadn't changed yet was the drums. He got somebody else to play on River of Dreams, right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And but I was still touring with him.
Right. So you were the constant. You were the constant of the group.
I was the constant of the tour. Yeah. So I guess I was the last one for him to do something different. Let me try this without him.
Okay. So then just the natural progression of doing different things. Now, I'm going to do a different drummer, and that's when Liberty goes on to do something else.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
See that brings us to the peeve part about it. It's like, it's not that it happened, it's how it happened that is the peeve.
Which is
part.
always the case for anything that happens in life. It seems it's how it happens. It seems.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Can you talk about how it happened at all, or what can you tell us?
It was like, and it happened to the other guys too that were in the original band, Richie and Russell and Doug. You don't get a phone call, you get nothing. You know, one day you're on top of the world, and the next day you're nobody again. You know,
so it's like the Beatles sacking Pete Best. Like none of them told him he was gone. It was he got a letter from Brian Epstein, or some weird way it happened. So the same thing with you. It was just like okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like and like Pete Best, you know, he played Hamburg with the Beatles. He was the one that went through the shitty part of the Beatles. You know, he never got to the suits. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he put in his dues, and now when there's another guy playing the stuff on stage with Billy, it's like, you know, I paid the dues so you could go play that now.
Okay, I got it. Right.
You know, that's the part that gets like crazy. You know, like I'm happy for the guy that he's got a gig. It's great, because I have gigs with other people that the other drummers played the gigs, you know. But it's like, remember that I paid the dues to get you there. You know, when Billy did the 100th Garden, it was like, yeah, it was his 100th time playing Madison Square Garden, but how many times did I play Madison Square Garden with him?
You must have been in the 90s, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's got to be a lot.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Now, if he would have came to you and said, "Liberty, I'm sorry, I just got to go a new way, you know, face to face. Yeah, I really appreciate everything you did. Here's some severance, whatever," or I don't know how that part works, but just a in-person thing, would it changed everything if he would have just did it that way?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Which seems to be hard to do for people because, you know, in my own little world, whenever these things happen, it takes a pretty great person to make that in-person thing to do that. I mean, because it's not an easy call for Billy to do, which is a human weakness, it seems. You know, that kind of thing is hard for people to do for whatever reason, including me, you know, to make that call to someone. I have done it, and it's a heck of a hard call to do. And I guess he didn't want to do it. You know, he didn't have I don't know what it is, but it's a heck of a hard call. And you really got to do it. Yeah.
Also, it's a hard call, but and you have other people that you hire to do that. You know?
Right, because you don't want to deal with it, and it's like he's gone, so I really don't care since he's gone, and I don't want to hear, you know, he might get mad at me or whatever. He just didn't want to deal with, which is too bad, you know, because that's one of the things that in life people should make that hard call. You know, it would change a lot in life. You agree? I don't want to get too philosophical about it, you know, but
no, but when Doug Stugmeyer got cut from the band, it was after the Bridge album, and Doug was the one that got us all in the band and put Billy's band together, and like he was the MD and he was the leader of the band and everything. When he got cut, he tried to live with it, but a few years later, he ended up killing himself.
Oh, okay. Stemming probably from that bad feeling he got, and dealing with that way it happened.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow. Okay. Wow. That's now that happens. So I mean, there must have been a time of years, or maybe it was, I know, at least months to get it out of your system. I mean, you're with one of the top acts in the world. You're touring Madison Square Garden, all these world tours. Now you don't have it anymore. How long did it take to kind of recuperate from that loss? Are you still recuperating from the loss?
Well, I'm not recuperating from it anymore. I mean, I dealt with it. I had a life coach that got me through it.
Okay, so this is serious stuff. I mean, when you go through, I know athletes, when they leave the sporting world, they go through some bad stuff. So I guess it's similar.
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, God, yeah. You know, it was like, I remember in the beginning, you have to rebuild your life again, because, you know, I was 52 years old, and now I don't have a gig. I'm not that guy anymore. You know, Billy's going on the road, and I'm getting phone calls from people. Hey, you guys are coming to Kansas City. Let's hook up. Oh, I'm not in the band anymore. I'm not. That's not me anymore. You know, so that the bubble has burst, and you're not in it anymore. You know, so I remember saying that like I was formerly the drummer for Billy Joel's band and stuff like that. And a friend of mine who worked for Sabian Cymbals, he said, the first thing you have to do is stop saying you were formerly this or formerly that. He says, what you have to say you are, which is what you are, is you were the guy that Billy Joel chose to help him create those amazing albums and unforgettable tours. That's who you are. And when I latched onto that, it was like, yeah, that's who I am. And those records will live forever. You know, that's me on those records. That's me that you hear when you put that record on.
Right. And it is forever, right? I mean, yeah, right.
Who knew it would last this long? I mean, if it's lasted this long, it's going to last forever.
So that change in mindset, just that one flip, which is what it really is what you're just telling me just now.
Yeah.
Okay. What does that changes the whole mentality? You know, now you're positive, and now you could go on.
You feel more secure. Yeah, I did that. I was successful at that. I remember trying to play golf when I lived in Florida for a little while. I tried to play golf, and I really sucked at it. And every time I would try to drive the ball, and it would go 2 feet in front of me, I would always look at the other guys I'm playing with and say, wow, I'm really glad I had a career before I tried to do this. You know?
Right.
Because now looking back at those records, and after what that the friend of mine said, it was like, yeah, I had a great career. I did great things. I moved a lot of people, and people remember that. And I know that now because when we play with the Lords on 52nd Street with Richard Cannata and Russell Javers, we play to, 1,000 people come to see us. And they're like, when they meet us after the show, they're like, I remember seeing you guys in the 70s. The energy's the same. And, it's all the same. You changed my life, that kind of stuff, So you're
going to always have that forever. That whole thing is there.
Forever.
Right.
That's a forever thing.
Right. Have you seen Billy's Joel since then?
No.
Okay. I mean, can you... I guess it's over a decade now. Can you pick not that you would do it, but can you pick the phone up and say, hey, Billy, how's it going? Let's have coffee one of these days in a couple months or something, or not ready yet for that, or is that he wouldn't take the call, or what happens?
I thought about doing that because, me and Russell got to get a lot of stuff out when the documentary Hired Gun came out.
Okay.
Did you see that? Did you see that yet?
I did not see it yet, but I heard of it.
Yeah. We get to talk about different things.
I actually heard about it 2 days ago, and I went online before our conversation, and I definitely want to see that because that sounds pretty cool.
I think it's still on Netflix or something like that.
Okay.
But it let us show our side of what really happened.
Right.
And the way it was put together with clips of Billy. I would say something, and then Russell would say the same thing I said, and then you'd see Billy in a clip almost saying the same thing that we said.
Okay. Okay.
If I said, I felt like we were a band. We weren't just, he wasn't a solo artist. We were a band all together, as one unit. And then Russell would say the same thing. We felt like a unit, like we were a band together. Just that Billy wrote songs and he sang the lead. And then Billy would say, my band, this is my band. It's not just a bunch of side guys. It's my band.
Right.
Right. So it was put together like that, which was done really well. That didn't make us look like we're, angry over it. It's just that this is what we thought, and it just didn't turn out that way. Because in the end, the guys that started out playing on the records and driving in the rent-a-cars, when Billy got new lawyers and accountants, those guys had, and most of the band had no relationship with those guys that rode in the rent-a-cars in the beginning.
Okay. Right.
So there was no connection there anymore. So they were like, the accountants would be like, they want more money? Fuck them. Forget it.
Right. Right.
And Billy, in his defense, Billy would stick up for me and always say, like, you can make whatever deals you want with anybody else, but I don't want to live to leave,
Right. Now, Billy. I mean, I remember hearing these things. I mean, he had some serious issues, right, with people taking his money and all that.
Oh,
like losing it all. And then I know he worked hard and he gets it back. I don't know if that happened once or twice. I know it happened at least once. Which seems to happen with I don't know if it's a lot of musicians, but I don't know if there's an innocence or there's a trust factor with particularly musicians. Maybe they're not focusing on the financial side. It seems to happen too much.
You're not thinking about it. It's like if you go to work and you come home and you want to play with your kids or whatever, and you tell your wife, you know what, you should take care of the finances, pay the bills and everything like that. And at the end, when you all of a sudden you have a fight with your wife and you're breaking up and you're getting divorced and you find out that she's been stashing some money away.
Right.
It's like that because you really trusted somebody and you felt like, okay, this is the person I trust and they're going to do good by me.
Right. Right.
But the person sees you as like, wow, I could really take advantage of this.
You're like a mark. You're a mark to them. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And they're so good at it. Right. They're good at it. So they make you think that everything's great.
Right. So much money is coming in that Billy won't miss it.
Right. Did they get in trouble, the guys that took it, or was it just a civil thing that there's nothing he could really did about it?
No, they got in trouble. They had to pay some monies back. I don't know if Billy ever got it back, but
Yeah. So that. I don't know, that always intrigues me how that does happen, But I guess it's part of the life process. We all go through stuff like taking advantage of whatever, and you learn, and then you don't want to not trust anyone again, but maybe you don't.
No, but Hired Gun is filled with this story. That
Well, the Beatles too, Alan Klein.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. They could have lost it all, right? If it was ever in his hands, Paul was smart enough to kind of get out of it, right? I mean, if that was in Klein's hands, he was probably trying to think of a way to get the whole thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now that I'm this age now, thinking about it, back then, but knowing how the world works, he was probably trying to get the whole thing, the whole 100% somehow.
Yeah.
So I want to segue into what you're doing now, Liberty. But if someone put together something like, hey, in October we're going to all get together with Billy, with some of the guys, would you do that?
Have to think about it. You mean like playing wise? Or?
No, just we're going to get together for dinner and just kind of shoot the breeze for a couple hours and just once a year we're going to do this. We're going to start October, and then next October we want to get together again, like old friends. Or would you have to think about that?
Well, with Billy, I would do it. But there's some people in the band.
Okay,
I would not.
Just you and Billy.
Play with him now.
Okay,
I would not do it.
I got you. So, okay, so you and Billy, you do it, but the other whole group thing, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's going on now? What's Liberty doing now? Tell me what's happening. Like within the last 2 years, what are you working on?
Well, we got the Lords of 52nd Street.
Okay.
With myself, Richie Canada, Russell Jabbers.
Okay.
And we got a couple of guys actually that sit in and do the Billy part. They play piano and sing.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah. And because we help create those parts. When you hear the Lords of 52nd Street, you hear the parts that we created for those songs.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Yeah. So
it's almost like the Elvis thing with Elvis not there, and they created the exact same notes. Remember that thing with Elvis?
Yes.
10 years ago or something. Okay.
Yeah, and we do the songs in the original key of the record, and because there's three of us playing on in the band, we sound more like Billy than Billy does because it's in the original key,
Oh, okay. Does it sound even better in a weird way? Yeah, I hear some of these tribute groups I hear sound better than the actual original groups. Is that possible?
Well, it does sound better. I don't like to knock any bands, but I think Billy's band now is just phoning it in. They're making money. They're very excited. They're playing Madison Square Garden, but we were hungry.
Right.
We were starving, and now we're here. like, wow, this is cool. You know what I mean?
That edge. You had that edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, the eye of the tiger, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so what's going on the last year? I mean, like lead up to like right now. What's going on in your life?
Well, I have a 2-year-old.
Oh, okay. I got a 9, and I'm 58, so I thought that was holy smokes. Okay, that's great.
She's 2, and I have 4 daughters.
Okay.
The other 3 are in their 30s. One is going to school to become a registered nurse. Another
That's
one
nice.
is on the road with Fleetwood Mac. She does the dressing rooms and cuts hair.
Okay.
And the other one is an actress on TV. She's on a show called Chicago Med.
Okay, so you could watch her once a week or whatever, whenever the show's on?
Yeah, on NBC, yeah.
Okay. How cool is that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So things are like moving up pretty good now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have another band, the Slim Kings. We do all original material.
The Slim Kings, yes, right.
Yes.
Okay. How often do you play them? Do they tour or do they play in the city?
No, we just play in the city, play out every now and then. You know, I mean, between the Lords and the Slim Kings, it's hard to get, the calendar gets really full.
Okay.
And I promised myself I wouldn't like jeopardize my relationship with my family for music anymore.
Right.
I wouldn't do that again. You know.
Okay.
So.
Now you must be heck of a busy guy with a 2-year-old then. You know.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah.
But since what with the knee, my mother-in-law has been coming over every day and really helping out.
Oh, okay. Well, that's always good to have, you know?
Yeah.
Liberty, I'm going to go into my final section. I should have mentioned this to you, but I call it hit and miss. It's my little thing I made up, which is a word association. So, You ready to do this? I'm going to give you the first couple things that come to your mind.
Okay.
Right? Favorite color?
Red.
Okay. If you were on a deserted island, other than any family members, no. You know what? I blew that. Cut that. If you were on a deserted island and you had to bring 2 musical CDs with you, what would you bring? So you're on this 5-year thing on this beautiful island with beautiful weather. 2 music CDs.
2 music CDs. I would bring Meet the Beatles.
Okay.
And I would bring probably the soundtrack to The Mission, the movie The Mission.
Is that the Tom Cruise movie?
No, The Mission's Robert De Niro.
Oh, okay. I got to hear it now you said that. Which song's better, All My Lovin' or I Want to Hold Your Hand?
I Want to Hold Your Hand.
Okay. Now, if you were in a foxhole other than a family member, who would be in the foxhole with you?
Who would be in a foxhole with me? That's a good question. My first thought was Jeff Carlisi. He was the guitar player from 38 Special. He's a great cook, so we'd eat well.
Okay. That helps. That's important, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was the first thing that came to your mind, so that's good.
Yeah.
Did people call you Liberty when you were like in 2nd grade? Or I know you have a long Italian first name, or was that how you were referred to, or was it Lib?
My real name is Libertori.
Okay.
And when my mother tried to register me in school, the teacher said, they're going to mess up that name. They'll never get it right. What can we call him? So I'm named after my uncle who was killed in World War II, and they used to call him Liberty.
Oh, okay.
So she said, call him Liberty. But then when I was growing up, for short, people called me Lib. They still call me Lib now. But when I was really young, Libby was the...
You probably didn't like that, right? You didn't like that, I would think.
No, I don't care for Libby now. Some guys that I knew for many, many years still say Libby.
Okay. Then that's cool, though, since they've known you from back then, so you let them get away with it, probably, right?
Yeah.
What was it like being named, like being called Liberty? That sounds like a pretty cool thing to be called because of liberty, you know?
Well, when my uncle was called Liberty, he used to get into fights because of the statue of the harbor is a woman, Statue of Liberty.
Okay.
But during the 60s, it was the name to have,
Right. Okay. Favorite actor?
Robert De Niro.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Moonstruck.
Oh, okay. I like that too. What's your favorite, favorite part of the movie? Favorite scene?
I like when what's his name? It's looking at his hands, his fake hands. He says, "Johnny's got his hand. Johnny's got his girl."
Do you know Danny Aiello? I know he's around New York a lot.
Yeah, he's up there. He's up around here.
Okay. Top 5 rock groups of all time. Put you on the spot.
Top 5.
Yeah, top 5.
Okay, we got the Beatles and the Stones.
That's automatic. Right? Automatic. That always seems to be the automatic too. Okay.
Automatic Beatles and Stones. Traffic. The
Traffic.
Rascals.
Okay, Rascals.
Yeah,
Okay.
The Rascals. And top 5. Well, you should have said songs. Rock groups. I'm gonna throw in the Foo Fighters right now.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go spontaneous on this one. Give me your top 5 rock songs of all time.
All right, rock songs. My favorite. There's songs that I like that I actually had to pull the car over. And not necessarily rock, but when they came on the radio, it was like, whoa, what is that?
Okay. Love to hear these.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
I'd say I Shot the Sheriff by Bob Marley and the Wailers.
Okay. Number 2.
Deodato's, what the heck, the movie, boom, boom, Space Odyssey.
The 2001 Space Odyssey?
Yes.
Okay.
Deodato does a version of that.
Okay.
The Knack, My Sharona.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Okay. I like that. That's 3.
I Can't Stand Losing by the Police.
Okay.
Or Roxanne. All those in there.
Right.
And another song that I simply love to hear and play it loud is, I got to say, Fly Me to the Moon by Frank Sinatra.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Right. Do you like Frank Sinatra? Did you like him?
I do.
Okay. What about Elvis? How good?
I like Elvis now. I appreciate him more now than I did when I was younger.
Okay.
Okay. I just don't like that Sirius Radio keeps playing his movie songs.
Yeah. I mean, do you like the 50s Elvis, or when he came back in through the 70s, that Elvis, or it doesn't matter?
I like the early Don't Be Cruel Elvis, Teddy Bear Elvis.
Yeah.
I like that one. But I also do like the the jumpsuit Elvis.
Okay. He's got to be probably the best looking rock star, right, in his prime?
Oh yeah, God.
He had the look, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. Like Greek god type thing with the nose and the whole look. I guess that's charisma.
Yeah, I mean, when you walk around the streets and think about it, did you ever see another person that looked like Elvis?
No.
Like, you ever point to the person and go, "Wow, that guy looks just like Elvis"? No.
What do you think of Jerry Lee Lewis? I'm going to throw some rock star guys at you.
Yeah, I thought Jerry Lee Lewis was good. I didn't like him as I liked Little Richard better.
Okay. From that era. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Mick Jagger. I mean, is he great?
Mick Jagger, I loved him in the Stones. I like the Brian Jones Stones.
Okay.
And up to the Mick Taylor Stones. But
right.
then after that, I feel like the Stones became an imitation of themselves.
Ah, okay.
know?
Right. How was Charlie Watts? Was he a great drummer?
Solid.
He was. Okay.
Yeah,
I couldn't get over the way he looked, because I'm being a Beatle fan, but he really was a great drummer. Solid. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Can Babe Ruth play baseball today? If you put him out in the modern world from 1927, could he play today?
No.
He couldn't play today?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, too sluggish, a little heavy.
Okay.
Too many hot dogs.
He wouldn't adjust, though. I mean, Lou Gehrig, he played with Gehrig, and he was great next to Lou. And Lou, you might say Lou could play today.
Well, I don't know. The guys today are pretty good.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It doesn't compare probably in the talent-wise, compared to then. Is that what you would say?
No.
Yeah. Do you like sports?
I don't.
Okay. Word association. Well, I'll ask you this since you don't like sports, but I was going to give this my hit and miss. Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Okay. Even though he bet on baseball and all that, he was so great and the all-time hit leader. Put him in.
Yeah, come on.
Okay.
Give a break. they give breaks to rock stars all the time. Who's beating up who and who did this and what? And,
Yeah.
And it's forgotten when their next album comes out.
Right. Louisiana. What do you think when you hear Louisiana?
When I hear the song Louisiana?
First thing that comes to your mind when I say Louisiana.
The song Louisiana by Randy Newman.
Okay. Who's the most famous person other than any of these rock stars you met?
Most famous person was Prince Charles.
How was that? What was he like?
He was cool, man. He was coming out of a hotel, and he came right over to us. We were off to the side, and he started to talk to us.
The group?
He was cool.
You were in the group with the band?
Yeah, we were checking into the same hotel he was checking out of.
Oh, he came over to you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. One person to meet ever. I'm a genie, Liberty. I'm going to let you meet this guy tomorrow. Who would it be?
What person? Probably Jesus Christ.
All right. Other than Jesus.
Other than Jesus.
I should have said that. I got to make this difficult. I can't make it too easy. Other than Jesus. Yeah.
Probably one of my grandfathers, because I never met them.
Oh, okay. What advice would you give a drummer now? You say a young kid, he's 16, he's into drums. Okay. Liberty, give me some advice.
The best advice I can give anybody that wants to be a musician, want to be a successful musician and continue your career, is to make sure that you marry a woman that has a job.
Oh, okay.
Because you're going to make some money, but you're going to be paying out insurance and all kinds of things that you don't think about when you're just starting to play your instrument. If you got a woman that's got a nice job, that's got a great insurance policy, you got it made. Okay. Well, I have to ask you this. I mean, in the 70s, 80s run, were you very wealthy ever? I mean, this crazy wealth or not being a sideman, I'll call it? No crazy wealth. I was able to, raise a family, live well. Okay. But not crazy wealth, no.
Okay. And on the advice thing, is there any secret to the drums, or you just got to keep practicing makes perfect, like anything else?
Just listen to your favorite record and think about why you like that record.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now, this is my last one.
Okay.
Liberty, if you had one wish that would come true tomorrow, and I'm going to grant the wish, what would your wish be?
I want to live in Liverpool in the early 60s and hook up with this guy called the Beatles and get there before Ringo does.
Do you think you could have, it's a fantasy. Could you have been in the Beatles?
I don't know. My hair's too curly. I don't know. Okay. It doesn't sound right. John, Paul, George, and Liberty.
Hey, if they would have kept saying it, it might have came out.
Yeah.
Who knows? I like that one. Anything you'd like to add at all? I think we hit a lot.
Yeah, we did a lot.
Okay. What other hobbies do you have? I mean, you don't like sports. I mean, besides music, is there anything else, or is it like 100% music?
No, it's 100% music.
Okay. Do you know I arm wrestled Jerry Lee Lewis once?
You did?
In his house in Mississippi at his 60th birthday party. He pointed to me and he wanted to arm wrestle, and he was, he must have been on something, because he said that me and him were in Granada together, and I looked different because I looked more Italian looking, and I arm wrestled him righty and lefty. I got pictures of it.
That's insane.
I might be the only one that ever have those photos. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, Liberty. One last thing, Bruce Springsteen. What do you think of him?
I think Bruce is great. Growing up with Billy and Bruce being our nemesis, I guess. Running side by side.
Right.
I never really thought about Bruce that much. And like being the Max Weinberg in the Billy Joel band, there was always those comparisons. But after seeing his Broadway show, the man's incredible. He's real. Right.
Did you read his book?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Real. I like that.
Yeah.
Liberty, one more minute and I'm going to let you go. But I forgot the top 5 drummers of all time. You can't include yourself. You can't include yourself. Right.
Oh, because I was going to say me.
Not you.
No. Top five
Top
drummers
five
of all time.
Yes.
Okay, number one, Gene Krupa.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, Joe Murillo.
Okay.
Okay. I have to put Steve Gadd in there.
Three. That was three. Okay.
Okay, three. Let's see, let me think who else I really love. Now, we're talking about top five drummers as far as like they're just great drummers or the bands that they were in.
I'm just
or
going
that influenced me.
top five drummers. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Okay, put Bernard Purdy in there.
Okay.
And Hal Blaine.
Okay, I'm gonna have to Google some of these because I haven't heard of any of them. I heard of a couple of them, but some I haven't.
Which ones haven't you heard?
The last one you mentioned to me.
Hal Blaine?
Yeah.
He's the one that played on all the Ronettes records, the Beach Boys, the Monkees records, all those records.
Okay.
He played on 8 consecutive records of the year that won a Grammy, 8 in a row. He played on 8 years in a row.
Now, how come he's not more popular? I mean, he doesn't seem like a brand name, which he probably
studio
should.
guy.
A studio
guy.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He just passed away recently.
Oh, okay. How was Dennis Wilson, the drummer for the Beach Boys?
He was.
He looked pretty cool. I'll give him that.
He looked cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked cool.
That's about the story.
He was a pounder,
Okay.
But Hal Blaine played all the parts on the records.
Oh. Wow. I guess that must be out there. I didn't know that.
Watch the documentary The Wrecking Crew.
I'm going to do it. Wow. So Dennis Wilson did not play on the actual recording of the records of the Beach Boys.
Dennis Wilson didn't play on any records.
Huh. He was just on the live shows on TV, and so you always see him back there. Okay.
Yeah. Like the Monkees, they didn't play on any records.
Was he able to play live, or was he like if you're looking at him, it's like, hey, what's this guy doing? Or?
They played live, but they weren't. They didn't know how to do the studio.
Huh. Wow, that's wild.
Yeah. Guys in England too. There was another drummer in England. I can't remember his name, but Dave Clark. There was the Dave Clark 5. He was the drummer in the band. He never played on any of his records. The drummer in the Kinks didn't play on "You Really Got Me" and "All Day and All Night."
Okay.
You studio guys. They're studio guys. They knew how to do it.
Right. DJ Fontana, was he any good?
Yeah, he was great with Elvis.
Okay.
You're kidding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It seemed pretty primitive back then, some of that sound, when you see the TV shows, But wow, Liberty, this was great. I thank you for your time. This was kind of historic. I haven't heard a lot of these things. I listened to some of your interviews. I hope I brought some stuff out that you haven't spoken about before.
Yeah, it was cool. It was great.
Okay, good. And I'm going to give a shout out to Zach Martin, our mutual friend, to kind of set this up.
So,
yeah.
Zach, baby.
Yeah, Zach. Okay. That was Liberty Devitto. I am Ray K. Catch you next time.